Hello students, in this video lecture we are going to discuss polymers and chemistry in everyday life. We'll see the first question, which of the following is not addition polymer? Option A, polystyrene, B, nylon, C, PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride, D, polypropylene. The solution for this question is option B. Nylon is not addition polymer. So first we should know what is addition polymer. In this case, the molecules of the same monomer or different monomer added together on a large scale to form polymer. For example, if we take polystyrene, here the monomer is styrene. Okay, benzene ring with the CH double bond CH2. This is the structure of polystyrene which undergoes polymerization, that is addition polymerization, and we will get polystyrene. Here it is CH, CH2 which is linked to other styrene. Okay, so this is the addition polymer. Suppose if I consider PVC, polyvinyl chloride, here the monomer is vinyl chloride, CH2 double bond CHCl, vinyl chloride, which undergoes polymerization. So we will get CH2 single bond CHCl, which is linked to other monomer. Polypropylene, CH2 double bond CH3, which undergoes polymerization, that is addition polymerization, CH3, which is connected to another monomer unit. So all these are example for addition polymers, that is repeatedly they are added. Polystyrene, PVC and polypropylene are example for addition polymers. Here the question is which is not addition polymer, that is nylon. For example, if I take nylon 6,6, here the two monomers are adipic acid, that is HOOC, CH2 4 times, COOH plus hexamethylene diamine NH2 CH2 6 times NH2. So which will undergo condensation process, that is elimination of small molecule like H2O. So it is a condensation polymer. Nylon 6,6 is an example for condensation polymer. So the correct answer for this particular question is B. Next question, which is not true about polymers? Option A, polymers do not carry any charges. B, polymers have high viscosity. C, polymers scatter light. D, polymers have low molecular weight. Correct option is D. See the question, which is not true. Polymers have low molecular weight. It's a wrong statement which has high molecular weight. Therefore, wrong statement is option D is the answer. We'll see the next question. Which of the following true for a symbiotic polymer in CH2CYZN times? Okay, here is the N. I will rewrite the structure CH2CYZN. First, you should know what is symbiotic polymers. Based on stereochemical classification, polymers are classified into three types. Okay, First one is isotactic. Second one, syndiotactic. Third one, atactic. Okay, these are the three types of classification based on stereochemistry. First, we'll see what is about isotactic. Here, groups are arranged on one side of the chain. That means all Y groups lie in one side and all Z groups lie in the opposite side of the chain. For example, if I write, this is a chain, so Y and here is a Z. So here Y and in opposite direction Z. Here Y in the opposite direction Z. If you observe this structure, Y groups are in one particular side and Z groups are in the opposite side. So they are called as isotactic polymers. Next is about syndiotactic polymers. Here is the alternative arrangement of Y and Z groups. For example, if I write the structure, so here it is Y, here it is Z, here Z, here Y. So if you see Y, Z, Y, Z, such alternative arrangement you will observe in syndiotactic polymers. In atactic polymers, random order, there is no ordered arrangement. For example, this is the long chain. So here it is Y, here it is Z, here again Y, here Z, here Z, here Y, Y, here Z. So random arrangement you will observe in atactic polymers. So we'll see which of the following true for syndiotactic polymer in CH2CYZ. Option A, all Y groups lie on one side of the chain and all Z groups on other side. It's not related to syndiotactic, that is related to isotactic. B, the Y and Z groups lie alternatively on each side of the chain. Yes, that is exactly syndiotactic, right? It's exactly syndiotactic polymers. So option B is a true statement for syndiotactic polymer. So correct option is B. Okay, next question. Which of the following is not correct regarding pteryl? Which of the following is not correct regarding pteryl? Option A, step growth polymer. Option B, synthetic fiber. Option C, condensation polymer. Option D, thermostatic polymer, which is not correct. Correct option is option D. Thermostatic polymer is not correct regarding pteryl. We'll see in detail. Pteryl is step growth polymer. Step growth polymer in the sense condensation polymer. Okay, it's a condensation polymer. Here, bifunctional, two bifunctional monomers are used. For example, ethane 1,2 diol. Okay, that is a CH2, CH2, OH. Ethane 1,2 diol, and one more is benzene 1,4 dicarboxylic acid. So I will write benzene, okay, 1,4 COOH, COOH. So here elimination of small water molecule takes place. Okay, elimination of water molecule takes place. Here what happens now? Condensation polymer. Okay, condensation polymer. So it is a condensation polymer and also it is called as step growth polymer. Okay, condensation polymer and it is a step growth polymer. Pteryl is synthetic fiber. Okay, synthetic fiber which forms thread-like structure, thread-like solid, which is high tensile strength. Okay, the high tensile strength. Therefore, what happens? Pteryl is not thermostatic plastic because on heating it melts and does not show plastic property and it cannot be reused. Therefore, it is not thermostatic polymer. We'll see the next question. Thermostatic polymer bakelite is formed by the reaction of phenol with CH3CHO, HCHO, HCOOH, CH3CH2CHO. This question is appeared in a JEE Main 2011. JEE Main 2011. See, I will read out the question once again. Thermostatic polymer bakelite is formed by the reaction of phenol with. So bakelite is a polymer of phenol and formaldehyde, that you should know. Okay, bakelite is a polymer of phenol and formaldehyde. Phenol and formaldehyde. So the correct option is B, formaldehyde. We'll see how the reaction takes place. So here phenol, I will take phenol OH plus formaldehyde HCHO in the presence of acid or base. Okay, acid or base, which will give ortho or para hydroxy methylphenol. Okay, so you will get a mixture of products like this. So here OH, CH2OH plus OH, here is a CH2OH, CH2OH, one more type is OH, CH2OH, CH2OH, CH2OH. So these are the different kinds of products. So it will give ortho or para hydroxy methylphenol, which further forms Novelac. How to write structure of Novelac? So I will take one of the product OH, CH2OH n times. So which will undergo polymerization and we will get Novelac. Here is OH and CH2 OH CH2. So this is the structure of CH2 n times Novelac. Okay, Novelac. Novelac further treatment with the formaldehyde which will give bakelite. So I will write the structure of bakelite here OH CH2 OH CH2. Here is one more CH2 and which is connected to CH2 and another chain. Here we have OH group. Okay, and CH2 again which is connected to another CH2 OH. Two lines are joined by CH2 and here is a CH2. So n times. This is the structure of bakelite. So bakelite is formed by the reaction between phenol and formaldehyde. So option B is the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following statement about low density polythene is false? Option A. Its synthesis requires dioxygen or a peroxide initiator as a catalyst. Option B. It is used in the manufacture of bakelites, dustbins. Option C. Its synthesis requires high pressure. Option D. It is poor conductor of electricity. So low density polythene. Okay, low density polythene, how it is prepared, which is obtained by polymerization of ethene under high pressure. Okay, under high pressure, that is around 1000 to 2000 atmospheric pressure. Okay, ethene is treated under 1000 to 2000 atmospheric pressure and 350 to 570 Kelvin temperature. in the presence of dioxygen, okay, in the presence of dioxygen or peroxide initiator by free radical reaction. By free radical addition reaction, low density polythene is prepared. Low density polythene is chemically inert and tough but flexible and poor conductor of electricity. Flexible, it's very important. Flexible and it is a poor conductor of electricity. And it is used in the manufacture of squeeze bottles, toys and flexible pipes. Okay, squeeze bottles, toys and flexible pipes. This is regarding low density polythene. We'll see about high density polythene, how it is prepared. High density polythene is prepared by addition polymerization of ethene in presence of hydrocarbon solvent and triethyl aluminium and titanium tetrachloride, that is called as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Okay, how it is prepared in hydrocarbon solvent in the presence of Ziegler-Natta catalyst. What is a Ziegler-Natta catalyst here? Triethyl aluminium and titanium tetrachloride is called as Ziegler-Natta catalyst. So in the presence of these catalysts at 333 Kelvin under 6 to 7 atmospheric pressure, high density polythene is prepared. It's chemically inert, more tough and hard, and it is used in the manufacture of buckets, dustbins, pipe, etc. So this is regarding high density polythene. So in our question, which of the following statement about low density polythene is false? So the first option, it is correct. It is synthesized. Synthesis requires dioxygen or peroxide initiator. Option B, it is used in the manufacture of buckets and dustbin. This is wrong. Here, high density polythene is used. Low density polythene is used in squeeze bottles, toys and flexible pipes. Okay, and in case of bucket and dustbins, high density polythene is used. So this statement is wrong. Its synthesis requires high pressure, yes, 1000 to 2000 high pressure, and it is a poor conductor of electricity. Rest of the options are correct regarding low density polythene. Option B, that is a wrong statement regarding low density polythene. Of the following, which one is classified as polyester polymer? Okay, polyester polymer. First one, terylene. Option B, bakelite. Option C, melamine. Option D, nylon 66. Polyester. Okay, polyester. So what do you mean by polyester? Polyesters are the condensation product of dicarboxylic acids and diols. You should know what is the polyesters. It is a condensation polymer products of dicarboxylic acid. Dicarboxylic acid and diols. So already we have discussed the preparation of terylene, or else it is also called as dactrin. Here ethane 1,2 diol is used, that is a CH2, CH2, OH, OH plus dicarboxylic acid, that is 1,4 benzene, that one, COOH benzene 1,4 dicarboxylic acid COOH. So each undergoes condensation. So what we will get? OCH2, CH2, O, C double bond O, C double bond O, N times. So here we will get ester form. So it is a polyester polymer. So terylene is the correct answer for this particular question. So we'll move into next question. Which of the following is polyamide? Which of the following is a polyamide? Option A, terylene. Option B, nylon. Option C, rubber. Option D, vulcanized rubber. So polyamide, you should know the definition of polyamide. Polyamide, these polymers contains amide linkage. Okay, polymers contains amide linkage. So in which of the following you should check which contains amide linkage. For example, nylon 6,6. If I take nylon 6,6, that is adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. Hexamethylene diamine. So if I write the structure of two monomers, HCHOOC CH2 4 times COOH plus NH2 CH2 6 times NH2. So which will give NHCH2 6 times NH C double bond O. So here elimination of water. Okay, elimination of water. Double bond O. CH2 4 times C double bond O. N. So here is a amide linkage. Which one? So nylon 6,6 is the correct answer for this particular question. So the synthetic polymer which resembles natural rubber is. Next question, the synthetic polymer which resembles natural rubber is neoprene, chloroprene, gyptol, nylon 6,6. Okay, the synthetic polymer which resembles natural rubber is. So synthetic polymer neoprene is prepared by the preparation of chloroprene. Okay, so the option A is the correct answer. Option A is the correct answer, which resembles natural rubber. We'll see the structure. Okay, that is CH2 double bond C CH CH2 Cl. This is the structure of chloropropene. Okay, chloropropene. Okay, chloropropene. In the presence of oxygen, we will get neoprene. CH2, C, double bond, C, CH2. Here it is a Cl n times. So the structure which resembles a natural rubber. So neoprene is the correct answer. Which of the following is not a condensation polymer? Which of the following is not a condensation polymer? Melamine, glyptol, Dacron, neoprene. Already we have discussed in the previous question preparation of neoprene, that is the addition polymer. Therefore, neoprene is not a condensation polymer. Okay, neoprene is not a condensation polymer. So option D is the correct answer. Okay, next question. Which of the following is an antibiotic? Option A, terramycin. Option B, aspirin. Option C, paracetamol. Option D, chloroquine. So first we should know what is antibiotic. See, many organisms like bacteria, fungi, which produces certain chemicals which inhibits the growth or metabolism of some other organisms. Such chemicals can be used as antibiotics. Okay, so antibiotics are the drugs to treat infections because of their low toxicity for humans and animals. Okay, this is the main function of antibiotics. The first antibiotic discovered by Alexander Fleming, that is penicillin. Okay, penicillin. Here, antibiotics classified into two ways, that is broad spectrum antibiotics and narrow spectrum antibiotics. Antibiotics which kill or inhibit the growth of a wide range of gram-positive as well as gram-negative bacteria are called broad spectrum antibiotics. Tetracycline or else chloramifol, all that example for broad spectrum antibiotics. Narrow spectrum antibiotics. Antibiotics which can effective mainly against either gram positive or gram-negative bacteria are called narrow spectrum antibiotics. So these are the two types of antibiotics, okay, that is broad spectrum antibiotics and narrow spectrum antibiotics. So here we should see which one is antibiotic. The correct option is A, is an antibiotic. Okay, terramycin is antibiotic. The option A is the correct answer. Which of the following is used as antipyretic drug? Option A, paracetamol. Option B, chloroquine. Option C, chloramphenicol. Option D, LSD. First, we should know what is antipyretic drug. Antipyretic drug is a substance that reduces fever. So it is very easy to analyze the answer, which reduces fever. Antipyretic causes the hypothalamus to override a prostaglandin induced increases in temperature. The body then works to lower the temperature, which results in the reduction of fever. So, correct option is a paracetamol, which act as an antipyretic drug. Next question. A substance which can act as both an antiseptic and disinfectant. Option A, aspirin. Option B, phenol. Option C, analgin. Option D, sodium phentothal. So first we should know what is antiseptics and disinfectants. Here, antiseptics and disinfectants are also the chemical which either kill or prevent the growth of microorganisms. Antiseptics are applied to the living tissue such as wounds, cuts, ulcer, and diseased skin surfaces. Okay, they are called as antiseptics. For example, furacin is the best example for antiseptic. These are not ingested like antibiotics. Commonly used antiseptics, Dettol, is a mixture of chloroxylenol and terpinol. Okay, these are the example for antiseptics. And disinfectants are applied to inanimate objects such as floats, drainage systems, etc. And same substances can act as antiseptic as well as disinfectant by varying the concentration. For example, 0.2% solution of phenol is an antiseptic while its 1% solution is disinfectant. So here phenol, which can act as both antiseptic and disinfectant. The correct option is B. The next question. Dettol consists of option A, cresol plus ethanol. Options B, xylene, terphenol. Option C, chloroxylenol and terpineol. D, none of the above. The correct option for this question is chloroxylenol and terphenol. This is the mixture of Dettol. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. And here you should know some other antiseptics also. This act as an antiseptic. And one more antiseptic best example is bithionol. Okay, bithionol. The compound is also called as bithionol. Okay, it is added to soaps to impart antiseptic properties. This is one of the important antiseptic. And one more antiseptic is iodine. Is a very powerful antiseptic. It's a 2 or 3% solution in water. Alcohol water mixture is known as tincture of iodine. Okay, tincture of iodine. That is a 2 to 3% of solution in alcohol and water. This mixture is called as tincture of iodine. It is applied on wounds. Okay, it is applied on wounds. Iodoform is also used as an antiseptic for wounds. Again, boric acid in dilute aqueous solution is a weak antiseptic for eyes. These are some of the content related to antiseptics. Okay, next is sulfa drugs are used for option A, removing bacteria, option B, precipitating bacteria, option C, stopping the growth of bacteria, option D, decreasing the size of bacteria. First, we should know what are sulfa drugs. These have great antibacterial power and are used as medicines for various diseases. Okay, these are also antibiotics and protects the body against microorganisms. Okay, these are used against diseases such as pneumonia, tuberculosis, etc. Okay, some of the very important alpha drugs. First one is sulfanilamide. The structure of this drug is, here is a benzene ring, here SO2NH2, and in this position NH2. Okay, so the first example is sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide is example for sulfa drugs. One more example, NH2 benzene ring, SO2 NH N, here is another N. Okay, this is the structure. Sulfadiazine. Okay, sulfadiazine. I repeat, our first example is sulfanilamide. Second one is sulfadiazine. So here, which will act against microorganisms. Okay, microorganisms. Therefore, option C is the correct answer, stopping the growth of bacteria. Okay, option C is the correct answer, stopping the growth of bacteria is the main function of sulfa drugs. Tincture of iodine is, already we have discussed. Okay, tincture of iodine is, first option aqueous solution of iodine, B alcoholic solution of iodine, solution of iodine in aqueous potassium iodide, option D aqueous solution of potassium iodide. So the correct option is alcoholic solution of iodine. So option B is the correct answer. So the next question, which of the following is employed as tranquilizer? Okay, which of the following is employed as a tranquilizer? Before going to the answer, we'll see what is tranquilizers. Is a chemical substance which cure mental diseases. Okay, which cures mental diseases. So these are used to release mental tension and reduce anxieties. What is the main function of tranquilizers? That is to reduce mental tension and anxieties. And these are constituents of sleeping pills, okay, which is used as a sleeping pill also. They act on higher centers of nervous systems. These are also called psychotherapeutic drugs. Okay, psychotherapeutic drugs. These drugs make the patient passive and help to control their emotional distress and or depressions. Okay, depressions, and they also restore to help confidence and patients work with full capacities which they already have. Here we have two types of tranquilizers. First one is hypnotics. First one is hypnotics. Okay, hypnotics. Second one is non-hypnotics. Okay, hypnotics and non-hypnotics. Here, hypnotics are known as tranquilizers, but they reduce mental tension and anxiety, and helps to induce sleep. Okay, helps to induce sleep. So these are components of sleeping pills. Okay, sleeping pills. Example for hypnotics, first one is barbituric acid. Second example is lumin. And non-hypnotics, They reduce tension as well as anxiety. These do not induce sleep. Okay, do not induce sleep. So the best example is Equanil. Okay, Equanil is an important tranquilizer used in depression and hypertension. Okay, depression and hypertension. These are the examples for tranquilizers. So, which of the following is employed as a tranquilizer? Correct option is A, Equanil. Which of the following compound is not used as an antacid? Option A, cimetidine. Option B, ranitidine. Option C, phenylizine. Option D, aluminum hydroxide. We'll see what exactly is antacids. Antacids are substances that decreases gastric acidity by neutralizing hydrochloric acid. They are compared quantitatively in terms of their acid neutralizing capacity and which contain salts of aluminum, magnesium and sodium. So here we have two types of antacids, systematic antacid and non-systematic antacids. In case of systematic antacids like sodium bicarbonate, decreases acidity, but which causes systematic alcoholysis due to the absorption of bicarbonates. Therefore, acid-base balance is disturbed. So what happens which can cause cardiac failure in patients? Okay, so cardiac dysfunction. Non-systematic antacids, this contains one or more compounds like aluminum hydroxide, magnesium carbonate, or else magnesium trisilicates, all these compounds. These antacids are not absorbed after administration and hence acid-base imbalance is minimal. So in this case, phenylzine is not act as an antacid which act as a tranquilizer. Okay, students, meanwhile, you need to study the structure of some of the drugs because they will give one of the structure. You have to identify what kind of compound it is. So, I will discuss some of the examples how it will be asked. For example, aspirin. Okay, best example I can take aspirin. Just a minute. So, aspirin, what is the structure? Benzene ring. Okay, benzene ring. Here it is OCOCH3 and COOH. Okay, aspirin. So acetyl salicylic acid. Okay, acetyl salicylic acid, which can act as a antipyretic drug. Okay, antipyretic drug. Antipyretic drug means what? The chemical which bring down the body temperature during high fever. So they can ask, they will give the structure which can act as antipyretic drug, anti-malarial drug, analgesics, antiseptic. So such kind of questions possible. So you need to know the structure. So this is the aspirin. Aspirin. Next one is paracetamol. Structure of paracetamol. So I will write the structure of paracetamol. Here is a benzene ring with OH. Okay, OH, and here in the opposite side NHCO CH3. Okay, paracetamol is the structure. It is also act as a antipyretic drug. Okay, antipyretic drug. Next one is one of the example for analgesic. Okay, analgesic example brufen. The structure, I will write the name BRUFEN. Okay, brufen. The structure is CH3 CH CH3 CH2 benzene ring CH CH3 COOH. Okay, COOH. This is one of the analgesics. In analgesics, we have two types. That is narcotics and non-narcotics. What is narcotics? Is a drug which produces sleep and unconsciousness are called narcotic drugs. Okay, narcotic drugs. Example, opium. Opium contains alkaloids such as morphine, codeine, which are very effective analgesics. Okay, very effective analgesics. Heroin. But non-narcotic is this one. The most important non-narcotic drug is brufen. Okay, brufen, as well as aspirin, phenacetin, both can act as antipyretic as well as analgesics. Okay, antipyretic as well as analgesic. See, aspirin can act as aspirin, phenacetin act as antipyretic drug as well as analgesics. This is also very important statement. Next one is disinfectant. Okay, disinfectant. Some of the examples already we have discussed. Bithionol. So the structure is benzene ring. Yes, another benzene ring. So bithionol. Okay, bithionol. Here is a OH group. Here is a OH group, and here Cl. Okay, this is one of the antiseptic. Antiseptic, which is generally added to medicated soaps to reduce the odor produced by bacterial decomposition of organic matter on skin. Okay, on skin. This is the this is the structural formula of a antiseptic. Next, already we have discussed some of the tranquilizers. Barbiturate acid. Okay, tranquilizers which induces sleep. Okay, which induces sleep. Hypnotics we have already discussed. So the structure is, here is NH, N, here also NH, here double bond O, double bond O. Okay, double bond O, double bond O. So this is barbituric acid. Barbituric acid. One more is luminal. Here is nitrogen, nitrogen, double bond O, double bond O. Here we have C6H5 and C2H5. Okay, C2H5, luminal. Both act as hypnotics and tranquilizers. Okay, structure of equanil. Equanil, which is a non-hypnotic drug which reduces tension and anxiety but do not induce sleep. So the structure is NH2, C double bond O, O CH2, C CH3, CH3, CH2, O, C double bond O, NH2. Structure of equanil. Okay, structure of equanil. So the next one is antibiotic. Antibiotic. General structure of penicillin I will write. Okay, general structure of penicillin. R C double bond O, NH, hydrogen. Here is a double bond O, here nitrogen, sulfur, CH3, CH3, COOH. This is the general structure of penicillin. Antibiotic. Okay, antibiotics, the substance which are produced by microorganism and can inhibit the growth of or even destroy other microorganisms. Okay, best example is a penicillin. So here we have different kinds of penicillins. So first one, this is the general structure. So R. So penicillin G. First we should know penicillin G. So penicillin G, what is the nature